All right, we are live. We are here. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Trauma Talk Today show with myself, your freedom coach, Nataushia Miller, and we are here with Nurse Candy today. Yes. Welcome. All righty. So we are here this evening to talk about life after teen dating violence, which is a very hot, spicy topic. And before we jump all the way in, let me make sure I share this on. I got this stuff going on my pages. Share this on my personal page too. Real quickly. So we could all right. Happening now. And the sound is good. All right. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, Nurse Candy, are you ready?
I am ready.
Let's get into this hot topic for tonight. So let's start off with the trauma. We're going to start off by you just sharing with us the traumatic experience of teen dating violence. Oh my.
Absolutely. So I am a teen dating violence survivor. And I first want to thank you so much, Coach Nataushia, for having me on your show today. I'm really excited, especially about this topic. I'm really passionate about. At the age of, let's see, 14, age of 14 years old, I found myself in a relationship with my abuser. And in the beginning of this relationship, it was more of like a me being rebellious. I had that, good girl, like bad boy thing going on. And that's what really attracted me to him. It was just kind of like taboo. And he gave me attention. He was older than me, 3.5 years older than me. But what started was he was very nice to me, very kind. And I related with him, and he promised me all these things. He would take me shopping, and at 14, and he's 17 and a half at that time, it was like a real big thing, like, oh, this older guy. But it really started off with I started noticing wanting to hang out with my friends, and he would say, I would have to start asking for permission to hang out with my friends. And I thought it was cute. Like, hey girl, like, my man doesn't want me to go. I can't come to your sleepover today because my boyfriend says, that I can't. So I'm asking for permission for things. And then he started accusing me of things. Everyone wanted to sleep with me. This, from his point of view, everyone wanted to sleep with me, and so just being accusatory. So I did not realize that these were the signs of the psychological part that was going on. And then it started to turn into nobody cares about you. I'm the only one who cares about you. I'm the only one who loves you. Your parents don't care about you. So it starts with the psychological thing. And then I end up getting pregnant on purpose, and something that we wanted to do. And within that, I felt like having a baby, someone that can love me, someone that can love me, give me the love that I yearn, and I was earning for. And the physical abuse, it started actually with me hitting him. I hit him a time before, and I was always one of my fears. I think I kind of manifested that, was for a boy to hit me. And you got to understand, like, these are things, trauma that we observe and witness as young children, so I would witness things in my own household. And so I always was very fearful of that. And so I always, distinguish love with pain. I thought love was pain was love was an action. I hit you if I love you. So I remember I hit him one day, and he didn't hit me back. And I thought, like, oh, okay, I'm showing my love. And then one day, I think the first time he hit me. I was going to, by this time, we're already living together. I'm 14 years old. I'm living with this boy, and I wanted to go to African dance. And I remember him accusing the instructor of wanting to sleep with me, and he pushed me through the wall so hard that the wall was an indent in the wall. So when he pushed me, he shoved me into the wall. And then I ran into the kitchen to get the first thing I saw was a butcher of like where you can put the knives through. And I took the butch of knives and I threw it at him. The next thing I remember, I'm on the floor. I mean, I'm on the floor. I go to the bathroom, look in the mirror. I have footprints on my face for where he stomped me in my head. And I remember 14 years old. I remember looking in the mirror and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what did I get myself into? So when my mom came to the house, she would stop by and visit, and she saw that there was a hole in the wall. And she said, what happened? Candy, what happened? I said, oh, I fell in the wall. And she said, you guys better not be doing that fighting around here. I actually put that in the book, go into more detail about that, traumatic story. But that was the beginning. That was how it started. And it didn't stop. It didn't stop until I was in handcuffs, going to juvenile hall for almost attempted murder. Snap.
Wow. Wow. Heavy. Oh my goodness. So 14 years old, dating a 17-and-a-half-year-old, choosing to get pregnant and moving in. What is that, like
Yeah.
freshman, sophomore year in high school?
Yeah, I was in 10th grade. 10th grade.
Okay.
Yeah, so sophomore.
And he was out of high school?
He was out of high school. He was out of
Yeah.
high school. He was 17, and then he ended up turning 18. And my parents could not get me away from this guy. Like, he was from San Francisco, Hunters Point. My mom and my dad were divorced. I was living in a home with my mom, but they could not tear me away from him. It's nothing anyone could say. Even his mother would tell me, Candy, he's just like his father. And she would tell me, and I would blame, oh, you just don't want me to be with him. You just jealous. I just did not see it. I had all the warning signs. Everyone tried to warn me. He would be so disrespectful.
Wow.
I thought my first name was Bitch.
Mm.
That was how I was addressed.
Okay. Wow. So, all right, because according to Erickson's psychosocial theory, when we're in the adolescence age, we have a crisis of identity versus role confusion. So, what was the impact on your identity with this whole situation at this time as an adolescent? Wow, and this
Well,
is some
I
serious
didn't.
vibes.
Yeah, it really is. And I didn't love myself. I
Mm-hmm.
wanted love. I wanted love. So if you like, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is on the pyramid. One of the theorists, very known theorists, is that the need for belonging and love, right? The
Mm.
validation. Every human, we yearn for that. And my household, I did not, just generational, just generational thing. I was never told that I was loved. I was shown, but not told. So not hearing it, the first person who comes around and says, I love you.
Right.
And you fall for it. So the identity is wrapped around and not even knowing who I was. And my brain wasn't even developed. 14 years old. 14.
Oh yeah. Our brains aren't fully developed at that time. And then okay, so I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, that one of your your top love languages is words of affirmation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
Absolutely.
like the acts of love wasn't enough for you to really know that your family loved you, because they just demonstrated acts of
Yes.
service, but they didn't verbalize it. Yeah.
Not verbalized. So you hit it on the nail,
Mm,
not verbalized. And so I did not know, I didn't have good, role model to express and to show me what love was. So I had to identify what love really meant with what I witnessed and what I saw, the trauma. So I always identified intertwined love with pain. That's what I
mm,
always grew up with and I saw. So I just thought that was the identification. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't hit you. I hit you because I love you.
right.
So
Right.
it
Right.
was
Right. Yeah. Wow, that is deep. So, what was the turning point? Because sometimes, in our culture, period, we're just really taught to move on and not necessarily go through the process of overcoming. So,
mhm.
when was the turning point? When did the turning point in your life occur where you knew that you needed to zero in and target and heal from this particular traumatic experience that happened in your life when you were only a teenager?
It took a lot. It was really deep. When after we lived together, it was an incident to where my abuser um attacked my mother physically.
Mm,
That's how bad it got out of control. So him and I went hiatus and we ran away to San Francisco and lived on the streets for a few months. So it was a few months of darkness and it got worse. And my parents would say, Candy, come home, because I would ask them to send me money. And they would say, come home, you have your own room, you have your own phone, you have your everything, but you can't bring him.
mm, mhm,
So I wouldn't. So the turning point, the turning point was when one day I saw stars. He hit me so hard, and I remember falling back into like a fence outside. And that's when I knew. I was like, he's gonna kill me.
mm,
He's gonna kill me. So I automatically start to think that I gotta kill him.
mm,
This is my only way out. So there was no exit. There is no just leave him. And my brain didn't, the capacity didn't go there. I felt
mhm,
I would have to, take him out. And I told that to his
mhm,
mother, and I said, I'm going to kill your son. So my turning point was when I had my son. Right? Is now it's different because I gave birth to a baby boy, and the emotional abuse continued. He was in jail at this time because if he got violent with me and called the police. He was in jail, and my parents put a statutory rape order on him because now he's 18.
mhm, mhm,
Now they can, right? And so I end up he ended up cheating on me. And it took for him to cheat on me. And I felt so much rage. I stalked outside the house all night. I went crazy. And it
mhm,
was just like, that's my abuser.
wow.
Yeah.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
So I end up I end up got physical, end up stabbing him, and ended up going to juvenile hall. And my mother said, you better, and I open up the book Become Invisible. That's how it starts off. She's like, you better hope he that he survives. You better hope you didn't kill him.
Mm,
And I plead my case in the state of California. There was no protection for, trying to plead that, I was, plead for my life. Like I was fighting for my life. They're like, no, you have to be at your last breath dying
mm,
before you say that, that he was trying to harm me. So he didn't file a case against me. I did a time in juvenile hall, did about 3 months away
mm,
from my baby. And It was hoping, and by the grace of God, that I did not get an attempted murder, because there was no
Mm-hmm.
protection for me, right? It's just the aftermath. I just snapped. I
Mm-hmm.
just snapped, and I just lost it. So the turning point of just like really pulling myself together. I think my son saved me, because he hit me one day in my head with my baby in the bed, because I didn't make his bottles right or fast enough, and he could have hit my baby. I didn't At this time, I didn't care about myself. The self-esteem is gone. You're embarrassed, you're humiliated. That's why a lot of people don't really say anything. The teenagers don't really
Mm-hmm.
say, who do you tell? You're a teenager.
Right. Right.
You don't
Right.
even
Right.
know the relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just your boyfriend, and you all go through it sometimes. Like, who knows that it's abuse? Who knows that it's domestic violence and teen dating violence? You don't know that at the time. That's why so many cases go. I'm so passionate about spreading the awareness, because so many cases go unheard or reported, because so many teens and relationships just feel it like, oh, it was just a point in my life, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
traditionally and generational, we don't talk about these things. Move on,
Right.
girl, move
Right.
on,
Right.
right? Move
Right.
on.
Right. Right.
And then we get older and we get in marriages and things start falling apart. And you're like, wow, I'm still struggling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
divorced now from, my ex-husband. And he was very opposite, you know. But I have so much trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I was so, I did a lot of damage emotionally, you know, and it just didn't work out eventually. So I had to take care of myself and my mental health, and take care of my trauma.
Right. 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 So, what was your transformation process like, as far as going through the process of recovery from this traumatic experience? Because it's evident that you've done some work. Is
Yeah, yeah.
it's definitely evident. So there's no bitterness there. There's no woe is me. There's no lingering pain. So it's evident that you've done work. So
Yeah.
what was your transformation process like?
It caught up with me, because you said it earlier, through, like generational things, we don't really talk about stuff a lot. So there
Mhm.
was no help that I got as a teenager. I just grew up with it and dealt with it on my
Right.
own, I thought. And so, through just my own well-being and my own awareness, and through broken relationships and my marriage, I really had to go back to the drawing board and really get this trauma situated, because I started eating it. I was overweight. I was almost 200 pounds. I was overeating the trauma.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what was
Right.
happening. It was the trauma. So I ended up eventually, I went to therapy. I went to intensive therapy just a few years ago. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
mental health nurse, so mental health nurse, and mental health advocate. And I put myself through therapy, intensive therapy every week for a year,
Mm-hmm.
and really just took care of myself, because I figured before I got into another relationship, this trauma, this teen dating violence is going to continue to haunt me if I
Right.
don't, get a hold of this. So I had to.
Right. 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 Um, absolutely. So I like how you highlighted the coping mechanism that you went into, and that's the emotional eating part.
Yeah.
And then just, after you just got tired of having unsuccessful relationships, it's like, you know what, let
Yeah.
me just go deal with
Yeah.
this stuff and get it together. And
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of it, when we actually make that decision once we're adults. Because now, like you said before, as a teenager, your brain isn't fully developed. Now our brains
No.
are fully developed. We have the capacity to critically think. We have the
Hmm.
capacity to process our emotions. We have the language to even
Yes.
communicate how we felt, why we felt the way that we felt. And then we also have the capacity to look at situations beyond just our egotistical perspective. We're able to look at it from a multi-dimensional perspective and really see like all the moving pieces, in those
Yeah.
traumas. So that is excellent. So what is life for you on the other side now? Because that's a
Um,
lot to experience at such a young age. Now a teen mom, my goodness, and all of those things. So, what is life now like for you on the other side of your transformation process? Share with us that and how you're living in triumph daily.
absolutely, absolutely. So it's peaceful. It is peaceful, it's light, it is love. The definition of love is First Corinthians chapter 13, verse 4. Love is patient, love is kind, love is not jealous, love doesn't boast. So I was able to identify and know what love is. So I love myself unconditionally. And through that I am a nurse, so I'm very passionate, and then I empower and help other nurses take care of their mental health, and their emotional health. So life is well, it is very good. Last year I just opened up a Alliance Healthcare School, so I'm 1 year full-time as a full-time entrepreneur, for Empowered Health Academy, so the administrator and lead instructor, and we're a team of 8. I just wrote a new book, Nursing Aspirations
Okay.
Unveiled. It's all talking about the mental health and emotional distress that nurses go through, as they are in their nursing journey, their nursing realm. And I have 4 best-selling books, best awards, for two of my books, and travel all around the world and get to share my testimony. I turn my test into a testimony, and help other women heal and
Right.
get their voice out, get their stories out. So life is well after teen dating violence. And I realized that it's all about the mindset. It's all about life is what you make it. If you want to be sad, you're going to be sad. If you want to be
Mhm.
depressed, you're going to be depressed, right? We have the decision and the ability to make great choices for ourselves, and just giving ourselves that grace to make those choices. So life is good over here. Very healthy and very
Right,
clean.
right, right. Yeah, absolutely. And I like how you mentioned the love component. And so how do you practice self-love for yourself, especially when one of your top love languages is words of affirmations? Because a
Oh
lot of times
yeah.
we always, when we really do the work and we realize like we have to know how to fill our own cup up because no one else
Yeah.
can reciprocate who we are to ourselves. So how do
Yeah.
you practice that self-love for yourself where you don't depend on anyone else to have to do that
Absolutely.
love,
Absolutely. You hit it on the nail. So I keep my cup full, and I keep my cup full, and I give everything to God. I surrender, I let him lead my way every morning. I put myself on a really great routine, because if you don't create a routine for you, you're going to allow someone else to make your routine for you.
hmm
And so I get up, join the 5 a.m. club, get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, every day, challenging myself, giving myself time for devotion, and really, pouring into me, before I pour into others with my service that I do in the community. So being loving myself is eating clean, and really, of course, exercising, and really practicing the boundaries. Boundaries is something that I learned, and I was like, wow, this is so awesome. You can have boundaries. Like, it's okay to like
Yeah.
put up a boundary with someone, and
Yes.
I practice those boundaries, and really, use my time and give people my time, wisely. And that's just me loving on myself and showering myself and teaching myself, reading books. I love reading and researching. Like, just knowledge is something I've learned. I've been spit on, I've been kicked, I've been drugged through the dirt, through the mud, literally. Um, and knowledge is something, right? We know knowledge is power, but you have to be able to apply knowledge and make action and execute. So I just
Right.
away with that, and it's beautiful.
Awesome. Awesome. So in addition to the routine. That's the self-care routine. Making sure you pour into yourself at the beginning of your day before you pour into anyone else, because that's an excellent tool to live in triumph over trauma. What is one more practical tool you believe with our audience to where they can experience triumph over trauma in their daily lives?
Absolutely. So you have the control to feed yourself with anything that's positive. So make sure that you guys are putting things into your mind that is clean. So things that you want to learn, your podcast, YouTube, audio. Put things into your mind that is positive, that's going to teach you something, concepts about life, how to overcome, and really just put that in your forefront, especially with all that social media. And make sure you're following people that give to you and really checking in with yourself to realize, when I'm around this person, is the energy more of vampire sucking, or do they fill me up? Like, really just stay grounded and stay in tune and really start doing some self evaluation and assessing. Hey, does this person bring me joy, or is this, every time this person comes around, or I get this phone call, or I get this text message, I'm feeling like drained, right? So just put positive things into your mind, reading books, positive things, your surrounding positive things, and as well as what you're listening and what you're feeding yourself. And stay away from the social reality stuff that's trash. We all love our reality stuff. It's gossip stuff. Humans love that. But what happens, it tricks your brain, your mind, to where if you're watching TV and a woman throws a glass in someone else's face, right, or shakes the table, it's like it normalizes it. So if it happens in real life to us, it's no big deal. You're like, oh yeah, people do that. They just throw drinks in people's face and they're mad, or they shake the table and they're mad, or they're all in your face, but that's not normal. We can't normalize those things, so just be mindful of that. So you're worth it. Value is important. You deserve to have the best.
Right. So what I just heard you say, just to sum it up, do not settle for entertainment that normalizes toxic behavior. And pursue educational platforms and things of that nature that's going to build your mindset and build your character and really keep you inspired to move forward towards your goals. Because that it's entertainment and or have mercy.
That's another trauma talk today show.
I'm saying, right? It's so much we can say about that. But I love it. And I love what she shared as a tool, because it goes hand in hand with your other tools, as far as making sure you're pouring into your cup first before you pour into anyone else. And so when you're doing that, it's easier to assess your surroundings. It's easier to assess the company that you keep. And so you're easily can see if someone should be in close proximity to you, or if someone should just remain an associate from a distance, in passing, because you're already keeping yourself as a priority. And so you know what energy to be around and what not to. And then you don't waste your time with entertainment, like you said, that normalizes. I'm like, I don't be knowing about none of these half these shows. I'm like, what is that?
You can't keep up with it. It's like, wow, like it's other stuff you could be doing, like creating something, like researching.
Like, I'm
lost. Versus like other things to do.
Right. Oh, I love it. All right. Well, this is concluding our segment where everyone can find you and contact you, and it's also in the description for this broadcast. You all will see Miss Candy's bio and all of her social media links and website. All of it.
Yes. You can find me on IG at nursecandy_6.
All right. Well, that is all for now. So this concludes our Trauma Talk Today show for August of 2024. Our conversation on life after teen dating violence, shedding light on adolescent trauma and how to overcome it. So thank you so much, Nurse Candy, for sharing your story. And I'm sure it's going to help others not only overcome teen violence, but to begin sharing their stories of how they've overcome similar experiences. So thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nataushia.
Peace and freedom.